You know what I love about the film was the message you have, because like when they get there and the father like keeps saying like, oh, I would have voted for Obama for a third term. Like he's overly stating that he's trying not to be racist, essentially. And I'm wondering, I've heard people say those things before in real life. And can you talk about like that message of those particular lines, and also are there other versions of that people have? I've heard that before too in my life, but I'm just wondering what.
Well, there's this party scene in the movie where Chris is there with Rose, his white girlfriend, and basically all the white people around him at this party are kind of trying to come and connect to him on some black thing.
Yeah,
it's an interesting phenomenon. It's very true. It's not a hateful thing. It's actually it's an olive branch. But I think what this movie sort of shows is being in the position of somebody who might feel like they're being seen for their color first before being connected as an individual. It's even though it's not a hateful thing, it's still a shade and a side of this big sort of mess that we call racism. So it's just a little piece of proof that we're far from a post-racial world.
So I'm curious, when I watched the trailer for this film, it says "from the mind of Jordan Peele." And I thought that was an interesting way to put it. I've never seen it that way before. I'm wondering, do you have a say in that how it's worded in the trailer? Because you usually see a picture from Martin Scorsese, a film by.
No, I thought that was cool too. It was definitely clear, like, people need to know this is from a black writer and director. It's a different movie if a white guy did it. But this, what I think is brave about the producers, from Universal, Blumhouse, QC, about this movie is to take a fresh perspective and give me a platform.
I love that. Now, one thing I love about the film is that now when I go back and watch the trailers, I find all these clues that lead me to what the twist possibly is. I'm not going to give it away, but it is unbelievable how you pulled this off. And I'm wondering, as a director and a writer, what is the balance of not giving too much away, but putting things in there that you can kind of go back and go, oh.
I wanted to make a movie you have to watch 2 times.
I want to see it again right now.
If you watch it again, every piece of dialogue is a plant for something.
Yeah.
So hopefully this one will kind of live on. People will watch it 2, 3 times. It's got some layers. I've put some little Easter eggs in there, and I'll probably continue to weave in the universe in my next movie.
Now, if you dropped Key and Peele, the characters, into this movie at that party, what would they do there?
Well, I think the characters that Keegan and I would be most excited to play surrounding this movie would be something like how Rel is, right? Little Rel plays Rod, and he's the friend who's calling in, checking in with Chris. And he kind of represents like the movie, the audience's point of view, which is no, bitch, get out no. What you doing? What you still doing there? Why are you still there?
Yeah.
So Keegan and I could we could probably do those characters pretty. We'd have a good time.
I was talking to a buddy of mine afterwards about the differences and similarities in comedy and drama. Comedy and horror, and they're very similar in regards to getting reactions from audience. My buddy was saying that, and I was thinking to myself, there's so many scenes in this film that could tonally change if you shot it differently or put some different music on it. And I'm wondering, are there scenes that played as horror that you would like to see played as comedy, and how would you change them?
Oh, that would be. I think it would be so cool if somebody did one of those trailers where they just change.
Like The Shining, where they put the happy music on it.
Yeah, I love that.
You've seen that. That's
amazing. No, but Get Out, it's interesting because it's closer to like Stepford Wives and Scream, right? It's got this satirical note in the premise, but then we ground it and take it very seriously as a thriller, which is probably how I'll do my next movie as well.
I've actually wanted to ask you this question since I saw the trailer. When they get to this sequence where we're on your face and you're just sitting there, eyes wide open, and the tears are coming down.
How crazy is that?
It's one of the most insane shots I've ever seen. And I'm wondering, as an actor, where do you go to get there? How do you? I mean, I know the characters in a certain way, but where do you?
Don't go there now.
How do you go there? Don't freak me out.
Dark place, but I think the writing is so. I think I really just empathize with Chris and his position and his situation and his backstory. So I I think it's the writing and
He's
the
just
character.
a really good actor. I'll say it because he won't.
Yeah.
He did it that well every single time, including in his audition, according to Jordan. He just sits there not moving anything.
And the tears just start coming down?
Yeah, he has that much empathy and he's that talented. I went to visit set that day because I knew it was going to be exhausting and awful. And I went over to give him a hug after, and it was as if there was a little cloud above his head of just like a rainstorm. It was very sad.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's dark. You just gotta keep that dark energy.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was talking to you about before was this idea of like the movie has such interesting messages. And one of the things that I thought was interesting was how your parents would repeatedly say things like purposely to like try and sound like they weren't being racist. Like I would have voted for Obama for a third time.
Yeah.
Can you talk about those messages in the film and how this is a horror film, but this is also a comedy, but there's also some really important things embedded in here that people can learn, and it's interesting.
Well, I think, speaking for white people, I think for their experience, their experience of watching the movie is like, it's informative because a lot of people don't know that just by saying something that you wouldn't say unless you were talking to a black person, you are isolating them, or at least giving them some indication that you're identifying them as a black person and thinking of them differently. And I don't think that's something that a lot of people are aware of. I genuinely think Rose's dad, who says, I would have voted for Obama a third time, thinks he's being like, I'm really cool with, I don't know what he thinks, but I think it's coming from a place of trying to like connect.
I think it's miscommunication of intention, because I feel like what you're trying to do as a white individual is basically make someone feel welcome, but how it's received is that I feel isolated.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I feel pushed away. So
scene.
it's that kind of like, and that party scene was one of the reasons why I had to say yes to this.
Yeah,
because
me too.
it
That
was
was one of
like,
my favorite scenes.
oh, I've been there so many times. And the people that do that are lovely. They're really nice people, but you feel awkward, and you're like, oh, I'm just living my life. I don't really see I just live, and you're being constantly like, oh, what's it like? Oh, this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what's happened in Botswana.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know. And it's like, and that's what it is. It's just kind of.
What is happening in Botswana?
Yeah,
We
a
need
lot.
to ask you.
A lot. I'm going to Wikipedia it.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to go over
and I'm gonna
this
tell you.
next
We're
time
gonna
I
come back.
see you.
Come
I need
back.
to know.
I'm gonna tell you
I have to
that.
geek out with you because that scene when the guy's running towards you.
Yeah.
Marcus.
How many times did they shoot that? Like,
He
is
got
that
Pulled
hurt.
his leg.
Yeah,
He
he
pulled
pulled
his
his
leg.
leg
That's
badly.
how much he committed to. He pulled his leg.
He played football. Like, he's a really like good athlete, really good actor, obviously too. But he was like, it was just luck that Jordan happened to cast someone who actually knows how to run.
Yeah.
If I had done that scene, they would have had to CGI me to look scary. Be like, oh god, she looks like a Muppet running towards the camera. But Marcus, like, it was perfect, and he had kind of I mean, everything about it was really perfect, and I don't even think they had to speed it up in post or anything.
No.
It just was that fast.
Last thing before I go, I think one thing you do brilliantly is that there's such a big twist, and I'm not gonna say what that is. Everyone's talking about that, but how, as actors, do you not give things away in your performance? Because I mean, there's so many interesting things happening here, and I want to go back and watch it again. But how do you not give things away, like way you blink or whatever you do? Do you think about that?
A lot of that's in there. When you watch it the second time, you're gonna see a lot that you didn't see. But that was like, I spent, I think, 2 months preparing for it, just picking the moments where that happens and making sure to be very careful. I mean, we talked so extensively about certain like phases in the movie that needed to be done really carefully, just to prevent anything being tipped off about the twist one way or another. And in each moment, Jordan had a really clear sense of where he wanted the audience's head to be, and our job was just to make sure that we could aid in that emotional goal that Jordan wanted to reach. And so I think it all comes from the clarity of the director and the writing.
I think Allison just played the truth, man, and it's just that she just handled it in a way where it was just, I can't say it without spoiling it.
Right.
I can't say it, but it's so well done on her part, and it's just honest.
Yeah.
In whatever fashion it's
thank you.
honest in.
Amazing job to both of you. Thank you for this movie. It was incredible.
Thanks.
Wonderful.